You ever have one of those mornings that start out so perfect, so movie scene peaceful, you just know something's gonna ruin it? Yeah. Let me set the stage for you. Picture a Saturday morning, barely 9:30, sun climbing up and warming the whole block, coffee in one hand, hose in the other. There's this golden hour before the world remembers your email address, before your back reminds you it's not 20 anymore, before, all the usual suburban nonsense kicks in. That was me, right there, living the dream, just a regular guy, in my driveway, detailing my Ford F-150 like it's a vintage Corvette, humming something classic, maybe Creedence, maybe just the sound of my own piece. Then bang, just like that, the soundtrack changes. I hear the screech. Not a tire, not a bird. No, this was something darker. Primal. The kind of sound that snaps you back to the Stone Age, fight or flight, right there in my DNA. I turn, and here comes Mrs. Higgins, my neighbor, in a bathrobe that could blind a pilot, waving a clipboard like she's storming Normandy. I swear, every suburb in America gets one Mrs. Higgins. She's in her 60s, hair sprayed into something you could bounce a quarter off of, eyes sharper than a hawk with caffeine. She's not on my driveway. Oh no, she knows the boundaries. She's right at the property line, behind her orange surveyor flags from Amazon, yelling, "Hey, stop it. You're stealing my pressure." I'm still holding the hose, mid-rinse. Water's dripping down my truck, pavement smells like ozone and victory, and I'm thinking, is this really happening? "Morning, Mrs. Higgins," I say, voice as friendly as I can fake. "Everything all right?" She mimics me, hi, nasally, like a dentist's drill. "No, Jack, everything is not okay. You're stealing my pressure." Again. You ever have a conversation where the words just don't make sense, but the anger's so real you start to doubt yourself? That was this. I'm just washing my truck, but she's got this theory. My garden hose is somehow siphoning all the city's water, leaving her hydrangeas to die of thirst. She's got notes, actual dates and times. May 12th, you took a shower. My sink slowed down 12%. May 14th, you ran your dishwasher. My toilet tank took 14 seconds longer to fill. She's got a handwritten spreadsheet. I can't make this up. Now, I'm an engineer. I know about fluid dynamics. There's no way my half-inch garden hose is messing with her pressure. But try explaining that to Mrs. Higgins. "Don't mansplain plumbing to me," she shrieks. A crow actually takes off from the wires. I half expect it to drop dead midair. She's not backing down. Now it's not just pressure theft, it's grand larceny of utilities, malicious water hoarding. She's got her phone out, recording me for evidence, narrating like it's a true crime documentary. Subject is Jack Miller, stealing pressure. Aggressive spraying in a residential zone. She's holding the phone vertically, of course. I ignore her. What else can I do? Wash the truck, tune her out, let her run out of steam. 10 minutes go by. She's still at it, muttering about bumper aggression, mocking sponging. I'm almost done when I see red and blue lights strobing off my wet paint. 2 squad cars pull up. Not 1, 2. Turns out, grand larceny of utilities gets the full treatment. Officer Miller steps out. No relation, thank God, though we've seen each other plenty. He's got that tired look, joined the force to stop bank robbers, ends up mediating lawn drama. "Morning, Jack," he says, already apologizing with his eyes. Mrs. Higgins is vibrating with righteous fury. He's stealing the water pressure. She shouts, "He assaulted me with a hose." Officer Miller watches her video. Me, washing my tire, her, screeching in the background. He gives her the patient kindergarten teacher voice. "Ma'am, he's 15 feet away. There's no assault, and there's no theft. If you're having pressure issues, call a plumber." But Mrs. Higgins isn't done. She points to a tiny rivulet of soapy water trickling off my driveway onto 3 square inches of her grass. She gasps, dramatic as Hamlet. "Look, it's crossing the line. Now we're in city ordinance territory." She's quoting chapter and verse. No homeowner may direct water flow in a manner that negatively impacts adjacent properties. Her face is purple, voice icy. It's trespassing, illegal discharge, property damage. Officer Miller sighs. Quietly, he tells me, "Jack, she's technically right. If runoff crosses onto her lawn, she can file a complaint." You ever feel reality slip sideways for a second? Like, are we really doing this? Mrs. Higgins demands a warning. No, a cease and desist. I want total containment. Not a single drop of your filthy truck wash water touching my property. I stare at her, then at the tiny stream of water, then at my house, my roof, my yard slope. Something in my brain just flips. It's not anger. It's a kind of cold, calculating clarity. You want total containment? Lady, you got it. I smile, not the nice kind. Total containment, Mrs. Higgins? She glares. Not a drop. Okay, I say. Officer, you heard her. Strict property line water containment. I promise, Mrs. Higgins, you'll never see another drop from my side again. She marches back to her house, bathrobe flapping like she's queen of the cul-de-sac. Officer Miller leans in. Just let it go for a week, Jack. Don't poke the bear. I tell him I'm just going to fix my drainage. She's right. Gotta respect her boundaries. The next week, I get a certified letter, hand-delivered. Her nephew's a paralegal, letterhead and all. Threatening litigation for continued trespass and water damage via negligent drainage. There's a city code violation notice taped under it. Downspout on my house is causing pooling on adjacent lot. I walk outside, find the offending pipe, and a city inspector named Dave already waiting. Dave has that look like he's seen too much nonsense for one lifetime. We got a folder on her, Jack. But she's got a point. Code says you can't have discharge aimed directly at a neighbor within 10 feet of the line. My house is 30 years old. Should be grandfathered in, right? Not if there's a complaint. Not if the city attorney gets spooked. Dave's not trying to ruin my day, just doing his job. So I ask him, if I run all my gutter water to the back of the yard, discharge it 5 feet from the property line, that's legal? Dave grins. Technically, yeah. After it hits the ground, it's surface runoff, out of your hands. He actually says, you'd be code compliant. Can't help what gravity does, can you? No, Dave, I can't. Mrs. Higgins is watching from her window, probably thinking Dave's giving me a fine. I go inside, call Big Mike, my deck guy. Mike's a legend, 6'4", beard like a forest, hates HOAs with the fire of 1,000 suns. I tell him, Mike, I need spike gutters. Industrial strength. Every drop funneled to the back corner. Mike takes a drag on his cigarette. Jack, that's evil. I like it. I'll bring the big ladder. We get the permit. Brenda at City Hall knows exactly what's up. She looks at the plans, glances at the property map, sees Mrs. Higgins's name, and stamps that paper like she's been waiting all week for this. Just use Schedule 40 PVC, Jack. Wouldn't want it to back up. You and me both, Brenda. 3 days later, my house is a fortress. 6-inch steel gutters, big enough for a cat to crawl through, all feeding a pop-up emitter 5 feet from the back fence, right where Mrs. Higgins's sunken patio sits, 2 feet below grade. Mike calls it an aqueduct. Mrs. Higgins complains about the aesthetics. Mike tells her, it'll be painted white, ma'am. She thinks she's won. Then, the rain comes. The sky turns black. You can smell the storm before it hits. I set up a GoPro, because yeah, I want the tape. The rain comes down in sheets. The gutters roar like a freight train. For a few minutes, nothing. Then the ground saturates. The emitter pops up, and water comes gushing out, rolling across the grass, slipping under the fence, and pouring straight into her cozy sunken patio. She tries to open her sliding door, but the water pressure holds it shut. She's out there in her rain boots, trying to sweep the water away with a broom, yelling for help. Officer Miller shows up again. Jack, she says you're flooding her house. I just point to the permit, laminated and ready. It's 5 feet from the line, officer. City signed off. She wanted total containment. Gravity's doing the rest. Dave the inspector arrives, too. Looks at the setup, looks at her waiting pool of a patio. It's surface runoff, ma'am. You dug the patio below grade. No retaining wall. That's a civil issue. We're good here. Her insurance adjuster comes by the next week. I hand him a folder, permit, video, city code. He watches Mrs. Higgins on tape, screaming for total containment. He smiles, a cold, insurance claim denying smile. Unpermitted addition caused the flooding. Claim denied. 15 grand for mold remediation, all out of pocket. After that, Mrs. Higgins never spoke to me again. She planted a hedge, privacy, or maybe just a barrier for the next storm. Mike came back to build my new deck. We sat out there, drinking beers, watching the hedges grow. We could have aimed that gutter a little more left, Jack, Mike says. We could have, Mike. but she wanted precision. He laughs. She sure did. Sometimes, I catch myself wondering, was I the hero, or just a bigger jerk than she was? But then I remember her standing at the fence, screaming about water molecules trespassing her grass, and I gotta say, justice has a funny way of finding its level. Like water. Like gravity. So, let me ask you, where's the line between right and wrong in the suburbs? Between justice and pettiness? You ever been pushed to the point where following the rules feels like the sweetest revenge? Let me know in the comments. Your stories, your neighbor nightmares, your thoughts on what's fair and what's just plain foolish. And hey, if you ever find yourself weaponizing gravity in the name of justice, don't forget to get it in writing.